it's long. So the new plan is...
I'm embarrassed. If you guys saw the last video, we had the HE2 and the Canon 500s that we were installing. So I had to get this gear back in, and I looked behind the desk. It was a mess. You see the sea of cables. There was no cable management. If you look above, this is what it looked like behind it. This is what a lot of studio desks look like. It's no excuse because ours shouldn't look like that. So I was like, hey, I need to take my time, rip out all the cables, and redo this whole thing. I was like, cool, I can do this. I'll block out the studio for a couple of days and get all of this gear patched in. What I didn't expect is to receive a phone call on that same day where I'm deciding to recable and be like, hey, I'm trying to book studio for tomorrow and the day after. Is there any slots? And I was like, oh. So I said to myself, you know what? Let me rise to this challenge. Let me see if I can recable this whole studio, all of this here, and see what I can do within this short space of time. I think it's roughly about 12 hours or something. As you can see, there's a lot of gear. There's a lot of cables. This is something I like to take my time with because I don't want to receive a phone call during the session and be like, hey, this isn't working. I want to be able to test everything properly. So it's a challenge I've accepted, but let's see if we can do it. So yeah, before we even jump in, with cabling, and I'm going to keep reiterating this, it's about planning. Planning. Most of the work, hard work, has already been done for me because of the patch bays. I'll go over how a patch bay works, but since I've labeled out the signal flow already, I'll be able to just rip out these cables, put them back in neatly, and hopefully everything should go smoothly. But yeah, let's start this video. So the great thing about these patch bays is that it allows you to customize your signal flow, right? So there's 3 modes that you need to care about, which is normal, half normal, and through. Through is the way that most people think patch bays work, which is you take a cable and you plug it in, and simply the signal flows through that cable. That's through mode. There's no automatic top down. It just literally uses the path from the cable. So for that here, through mode happens to be on the far right. So if I remove this, no signal will actually flow through the top to the bottom. Now, half normal to me is where some magic happens. So here, half normal is in the middle. And what this allows me to do is to be like, hey, I want to take the output of this piece of gear here, the MC77, and I want to put it into another device. So here, for example, I might want to put it into the Camden 500 here, right? So I just take this cable and I plug this in to the corresponding input. Now, unlike through, what this does is that the signal still flows from the top to the bottom. So it will still go into input 1 of the Symphony. However, the signal is now also split and will go into the Camden. So this allows me to do stuff like, hey, I want to record a clean take and a take with compression, that same take. So I think this is great for when you want to do things like that and chain and audition how gear sounds along with your clean take. Perfect. Normal mode, signal just flows from the top to the bottom. So that's patch bays in a nutshell. I'll put a link in the description below to let you know, okay, these are the patch bays that I use and this is where I get my labels from. But as I said, this is key for my recabling because I already know this piece of gear needs to go into the top. This gear needs to go into the bottom. Fine. So now let me just get changed and start ripping out these cables and let's get started. I know what you're thinking. This looks like a mad thing because it is a mad thing. No behind the studio desk should look like this. It shouldn't. As you can see, I'm just taking out every single cable, noting it down on the side of what piece of gear it goes into and removing it out. This is a long process. That being said,
I've been to a few studios that's looked a lot worse than this behind the desk, but I hold my hands up. It's no excuse. I'm gonna be real. At this point, I was starting to regret my decision of rewriting the studio, but I needed the gear in. I had a booking the next day. It was mad. And this is only the beginning. You can see the time. It's like, what, 6:56? Oh. Let me get up in this one. It's like 29 minutes, 30 minutes in. It's long. So the new plan should have always been the original plan. Get the most common patches plugged in. So worst case, if I do overrun on time, I know everything people are going to use is there. And for me, I know most people use the Juno 106. They use the Neve, the 1176. So pretty much the lunchbox, the Neve, the booth, the Rhodes, the Juno need to be in. That I can definitely do. The rest of the outboard, we'll see. But it's a journey. It's a journey, man. Right, time for under the desk. Oh boy, it's a bit mad up here. So we've got the audio escape, bus compressor at the top, our monitor controller, the second one down, and our headphone amp there. Oh man, don't know if you can see that. That is the Apogee Symphony. So I need to clean up those cables, and that's all power over there. So yeah, we're gonna get this right. Okay, we've made a lot of progress. So as you can see, everything is on, which is good. Now we're looking a lot clearer. So we still got to route a lot of the gear in, but we're making some progress. So at this point, I definitely just need to check to see if synths are actually coming through before anything happens. So you can see here, I've got the speakers muted at the moment. We're getting the MS2000 coming through, which is good. Now let's see if we've got the Juno. Let's get the Juno 106 plugged in. See if we can get that going. Let's go over to the Juno. And we can see signal is coming through. So it's progress. It's about 11 p.m. now. Hopefully I'll finish up soon. Finally, it's a lot better. There's still some improvements, but we're done. We are done. Rack's looking better. Gears tested.